Hello, everyone. Caren Glasser here, and welcome to this episode of The Passion Point. This is the show where we follow passionistas all around the world who are following their passion, making a living doing what they love. And today we have the amazing Bettyanne Green, who is a content marketing strategist and copywriter. We're going to talk about that. What are they? What does that mean? And what's the difference between the two? And she helps small business owners position themselves as experts, build loyal supporters, and attract clients that they love to serve. She's been doing this for over 30 years, and she has that experience in marketing, communications, writing, and graphic design. And her current love affair is with relationship marketing, which I really, really love. That's what that's today's currency, quite frankly, relationship marketing, and we're going to talk about that. She believes that content marketing is the way to foster long-term engagement and to forge those strong connections that build a thriving business. And I know that people working with Bettyanne, including myself, are commonly reporting that feeling that they're much calmer and much more confident about facing this daunting, necessary evil called marketing. So welcome to the show, Bettyanne. How are you today?
Thanks, Caren. I'm great, and I am so happy to be with you and be in collaboration with you. It's wonderful.
Truly, it is. It is such a blessing. We've been working together now for a little while, and I just was so excited to have you on the show because I'm excited to share you out with my network so that they can see what I already see in you. And again, this show starts all about passion. So let's just kind of start it out with a definition from Webster's Dictionary. Webster says that passion is an intense driving or overmastering feeling or conviction. What does Bettyanne say? What does passion mean?
An overdriving. Well, what I like about the definition is it speaks to this kind of urge. I think passion is almost undefinable as far as saying, well, it comes from here, here, or here. It is this urge. Right. And I think often we aren't even sure why, where that comes from. But it is a drive, a drive to do something. And in fact, passion is one of my favorite words. I do an affirmation when I wake up in the morning in bed, and it is, I greet this day with joy and gratitude, with passion, purpose, and possibility.
Oh my goodness, that's perfect.
It's funny that I know that we're talking about this because you really made me think of it again. Oh, passion. Yes.
Passion. It is that thing. It's that passion. So let's tell the story of your life. I mean, we can go all the way back if you want. I mean, in utero, if you so desire, but maybe not in utero. Let's talk about how did you get from wherever you'd like to start, maybe as a teenager or child, whatever. Did you always want to be in marketing, in content marketing?
No. Didn't know what it was. No, actually, I'm an artist. Some of my stuff is on the wall back there. I used to do illustrations and caricatures and things like that. So I was an artist at a really young age, and I loved words. I loved to read. I'd be the kid that would stop at the library on the way home in second grade, even or third grade, and lay on the bed with my friends and read. I just, remember those times. It's funny because when I was thinking about relationship marketing, it makes me realize how long ago I was experiencing this kind of thing. When I was in middle school, high school, 13, 14 years old, I wanted to do advertising. I actually knew the big companies, J. Walter Thompson, Doyle, Dane, and Burbank. I mean, I knew their names. I was all about that Volkswagen floating car ad in the magazine, if any of you back in that day remember. Yes.
Yes.
And I loved advertising. I loved typeface. I loved TV commercials. Not that I watched TV, but just the art of it. Mm-hmm. And I thought I would go into advertising. But there was something off about it. As I look back, I'm not sure if I even understood what it was. And so I ended up going to college in art. But I graduated creating my own degree, actually, in communications. Because in the 1970s, people weren't doing communications. It wasn't really a discipline. It was stuck in the business department or in the drama department. I don't know. It was stuck in these different departments. There was no dedicated degree. So, but the icky part, if you've watched Mad Men, this was Mad Men days we're talking about. And I don't know if you watched the series, Caren, or any of your viewers. Right. But it's brilliant. And advertising in those days was male-dominated. Women didn't have a place in it. And I knew that by the time I got into college. And it was, in your face, competitive. You're a loser if you don't have the image of this fancy car with their image stereotype of gorgeous women around you.
Right.
If you didn't have those things, you were a loser. So you needed to buy these things. Really in your face sales. And the whole Madison Avenue thing, I didn't even know why back then, but it just worked for me. Yeah. So anyway, that's what happened. I got into different types of communication jobs. I worked for New York Times Sales in Paris, actually. I worked for magazines. I worked in nonprofit quite a bit.
Wow.
Worked for individual business owners. But the funny thing is, I kept getting replaced with electronics and technology.
Right. I was not by people, but by electronics and technology. I love that.
Yes. For example, the most humiliating one at the time was that I did illustrations, and I did the kind for the city that I lived in. I did brochures. So they'd say, I want a picture of a family. Okay, I drew a picture of a family. I want a row of houses. Okay, I drew. And then clip art happened.
Oh my goodness. Clip art, that you're really going back a little bit.
I'm going back. So there's been, I don't like the word reinventing, but there's been a journey, of the different things in raising my kids. I worked from home and did different things. So it's been, I don't know, I used to think I was a dilettante until it all came together. And I realized, hey, wait a minute. I've developed some skills here and some passion for what I do. So that's the way it started.
How did you end up in content marketing then? Okay, so advertisement is content, I suppose. How did you kind of move your way on your journey towards helping people do what you help them do now, and that is in terms of content marketing?
Well, I'm in my 10th year in Oakland, California. Woohoo! Mm-hmm. And when we moved here, it was just great because it was clean slate, fresh canvas, and I did a little work here and there. And so in other words, it was a really deep journey to figure out, okay, what am I going to do now? What is at this stage of my life around marketing? And I started thinking about building a marketing company and realized, especially these days, we've talked about this before, Caren, there are so many moving pieces. There are so many options, and they're changing all the time. And, I just had this inner journey of saying, wait, it's about the words. And my tagline is, it's the message that matters.
Right.
So it's my belief that, and I love words, as I said, I'm a grammar geek and used to read as a child so often and all of that. So it came really to be my belief that if you've got a gift or a product to share and you have people who need it, how are they going to find you? It has to start with your words, whether they're written or verbal on video, it has to start there. So that was a great focus. That was like an moment of saying, oh, okay, this is where it's at. This is what I'm going to do. So I began that way. I did a lot of branding for people who were just starting out because I was just starting out. And then as I moved forward, probably about last year, actually, I'm in my 5th year this year of my business. And last year I began to fall in love with content marketing. And the reason is it's the opposite of that idea of the Madison Avenue competitive in your face. It's not Mad Men anymore. So anyway, that's why I am doing what I'm doing now. And it's sort of my joke is there used to be a commercial, they all need shoes. Everybody needs shoes.
Everybody needs shoes. So how would you even define the word content? What is content exactly?
My definition of content is it's what you know, what you do, and what you love about your business, and sharing it to improve the lives of your readers. That's it.
I love that. So, as people are listening to you and they're going, oh, okay, so it's what I know, it's what I love, it's what I do, and I still don't know how to write though. Okay, so how do they stop winging this, and how do they, how do they get out of their own way?
Right. Well, let me speak to winging it for a moment. Here's what I found, and it's my own experience, but I would have to say 95% of my clients and many of my colleagues and networking partners are solopreneurs, small business owners, spinning a lot of plates when we're doing it all. We're spinning the plates of accounting and of sales and of product development and biz dev and all of that, and marketing. And marketing gets slid to the wayside.
Right.
We don't spend the time on marketing, and even big business. There's some pretty interesting studies around that. And so what happens is we're winging it.
Right.
And my message over and over again is your message is too important to wing it.
Right.
Because once again, the people who you are serving with your passion are not going to find you if you're in that giant, kitchen table, the cyber kitchen table of 1 million of your most intimate friends. You have to differentiate yourself in some way. And the beauty of content marketing and content is that it's unique to you. It's what you, not me, it's what you know, do, and love in your business. And when you share that, it's like, be yourself, be real, be helpful. And that will distinguish you from the other people who do what you do. So you find the people who actually really need you.
Right. And I know you have 4 keys to this. I know you have 4 keys to your content marketing, being not winging it. So what would be the 4 keys of that?
Yes. So it's be strategic, be intentional, be personal, and be consistent.
Which do you think is the most important one of those 4? Because each one you said, I was going, oh yeah, that's important, until you got to the last one, be consistent. And I tend to think that might be really important. If you're not consistent, people are not going to know that you're coming.
That's such a good question, Caren. I have to say be intentional, to be honest, because you could be in the right places and you could be saying a lot of things consistently. But what I mean by intention is that you are intent on doing it. I mean, let's talk about passion. First of all, you're intent on doing it. You have that passion to make this message matter, to get to your peeps, to get to potential clients. And intentional is also, you're intentional about the outcome that you want to achieve. And the other way that people wing it is they say, okay, this is what I do, so I'm going to talk about it to anybody who wants to hear it. The intention about the outcome is, thinking of an example, most people have several audiences. Well, here's an example. Let's say you're a massage therapist. There are a lot of massage therapists who have specialties in different ways.
Right.
And you say, okay, well, let's see, I can do kids, I can do adults, I can do, people in tech who need a lunch hour to relax.
Right.
Well, those messages are going to be different for each of those people, right?
Right.
So if I'm going to do a set of messages on content in my content marketing plan, I'm going to choose which those are. So maybe my tendency would be to do a set of messages for parents around their children.
Right.
That would be my intention. So that's going to be a certain set of messages.
Got it.
And it's also going to be a certain set of places where the parents hang out. They hang out possibly differently in different places maybe than the tech people, who want to have a lunch break and get a massage to relax. So that's where I think the intention for me is the most important. And if you're doing that to the right people with the right outcome, you have a better chance of reaching the people you need to.
This is such great information, and you alluded to your strategy. And yesterday or a couple of days ago, I'm not sure when this was, but you did a Facebook Live post about having a content marketing calendar.
Yeah.
What is that? And actually, I know what that is, but I don't know if our viewers or our listeners know what that is. What is that, and why is that so important? I know it's important, but why is it so important?
Well, the first thing in relation to winging it is that you just see if anybody relates to this. So, you wake up in the morning and you see, oh, it's marketing day. I need to write my blogs. It's on my calendar. Okay, I'm going to go for it, So you go get your coffee and your dog's by you, wherever you are, and you sit down in front of what I like to say is your blank, white, staring screen that's waiting for you to pour your genius into it, In an hour and a half, you've allotted to write all your blogs. And guess what happens? You sit there and say, all right, the monkey chatter, mind chatter. What am I going to say? What was that idea I had? Oh, I don't know. Can I make that 800 words? Does anybody want to hear me? Blah, blah,
Yeah,
the chatter goes, and before you know it, you've wasted 15 minutes and you don't know where you're going. And that's the winging it part. So if you have a content calendar, you have a visual picture of actually your intention, the outcome that you want for the content that you're going to produce. So the beautiful thing it does is it gives you, you have it with you, whether you have it virtually or on the wall or however that works for you.
Right.
And you have it with you to say, okay, this is what we're talking about today. Got it. So, so that's the first thing. So
I love that. And I just want our viewers to know that we're attaching a link right below here that you can go watch that Facebook Live video with Bettyanne, where she talks about the content calendar and all the different things that go along with it. So we won't take any more time right now talking about that now, because I want you to go click that link. That is a call to action, by the way. Click the link. Go watch that Facebook Live because it was awesome. You do this great weekly Facebook Live, M&Ms, right? What does M&M stand for?
M&M's for lunch.
Yep.
And I do it every Monday at noon. And M&M's stands for messaging and marketing. And it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're providing content. You are creating content when you do that, which is what I really, really love about that. So,
and by the way, Caren, it's helped me not wing it, to be very honest. I know I've got my Monday. I know, and my mind is set for what is it that I'm going to do this week? What am I going to build to the following week? And then every Wednesday morning I have what I call Word Power Wednesday, and I focus a little more on the writing and the words. And it's nice to have it in my head. Don't you feel when you're doing your regular shows, it's just nice to have it in your head and you're planning it and it's there and your presence is consistent.
Well, and that totally makes sense. And even if you're not in a business online, or maybe you're not a business at all, it always feels more comfortable knowing what your plan is and knowing what you're going to do next. Just as an individual, there are people out there I know that can just wing it. I mean, every day is an adventure. They don't know what they're going to be doing from one moment to the next. That would not be me. I would totally freak out if I had no idea what I'm doing from one moment to the next. So I kind of have my own little content calendar going, just even for my own personal stuff. So that I don't wake up in a total freak out. Oh my God, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing today. And I think that's that whole being intentional. I love that we're talking about that. It's about being intentional, either with our work, with our day, with our projects, with our content, with whatever we're doing. Be intentional, and the rest will follow, I think. I do believe the rest will follow. Do you think it will?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think with this kind of planning, one of my buddies has a quote that I like a lot, and he says, what is it? He says, take a step and the path appears. And I love that because, yes, I do think it follows. And that's been my experience in my life in a lot of ways, take the step. I did not think I'd be doing Facebook Live a month ago.
But you're a natural. You're a natural for that. So you beat me to the punch with the quotes. That's a great quote. Great quote.
Oh, you want to hear a good quote?
That was an awesome quote. Because I love quotes, and I'm going to share one with you. And if you have another one you want to share afterwards, you can go ahead and share that one as well. This one is by Travis McAshan. He's an entrepreneur and a web strategist, which I thought was apropos for what we both do. And his quote was, "Purpose may point you in the right direction, but it's passion that propels you." What do you think?
Let me think a moment. That really rings true. Mm-hmm. That really rings true.
Do you think you can have purpose without passion, or passion without purpose, or do they really go hand in hand?
I think they go hand in hand. And actually, I have to keep that quote because I love it. Because again, when in the morning, I'm saying passion, purpose, and possibility.
Right.
So that's, I love that. I think they go hand in hand. And I think we can have a purpose, but we need the passion to draw on to keep us at it.
Right.
Because it isn't as if we wake up every morning, or maybe, I don't know, maybe you all do, but I know I don't. I don't wake up every morning and leap out, completely excited to fulfill my purpose, especially when there are the boring bits. I mean, to make things happen, there are the boring bits and the challenging bits and the bits that are outside of our comfort level. And I think it's the passion. I believe that it's the passion that drives us through, those bits that aren't so easy to do, so that we can get.
I think especially since there are so many more of us who are in entrepreneur land, who have left the 9-to-5, who have left the, working for somebody else rather than working for yourself, whether on purpose or on accident. I like to call a lot of entrepreneurs out there accidental entrepreneurs. Those are the people that got laid off or have lost their jobs. And instead of saying I'm unemployed, it makes them, and I understand that. I said I did the same thing. It made it sound better to myself. I'm an entrepreneur rather than I don't have a job. And I worked myself into what this entrepreneurial world that I live in. And I think as an entrepreneur, if you don't have the passion, it doesn't matter what your purpose is, because you're not going to be able to propel it.
I love that, Caren. And I'd like to bring something up to your point. The reason, and it's actually around yours and my love affair, I guess, with relationship marketing, that because I'm a reluctant entrepreneur, and I'll be really honest about it. I think two things have happened in the last 10 years that have brought us to where we are. Other things, but these are the two main ones. And one is whatever we want to call it, the Great Recession, right? 2006, those several years, because the business paradigm shifted. People in middle management, upper management, factory workers, people were laid off, people were downsized. Many of my clients, one of them was a tech manager for 15 years. She spent 2 full years looking for another job during that time before she stopped and said, wait a minute, I'm going to create something else, and became happier than she'd ever been. So we had that displacement, and this paradigm shift. The second thing that happened is social media. And it's just leveled the playing field.
It really has.
All of us, passionate, reluctant, whoever we are, for us to be able to get a step into that world. I know I could never have launched this business without social media, because we can reach so many people.
And you have a network of raving fans or friends, maybe they started as friends, became raving fans, that want to see you or want to help you succeed. So they are very happy to shout you from the rooftops, right? And that's where social media comes in. It's the good and the bad. I mean, social media has done some things, or the fact that we have social media has created some not so good situations where, especially in our politics and world events, where even before the media knows what's going on, social media is out there blasting correct or incorrect information. And I don't know about you, but I don't believe everything that I read on the internet.
No, I don't either. And the beauty is, well, you know what? Let's talk about intention and passion again, I guess. I think we got a theme going here.
We do.
Because people still need to read, and they still need to discern. They still need to have the intention of finding what they need on the internet and on social media. And so I agree with you, and not to believe, everything they see. And we become really savvy consumers. Really savvy. An example that I adore is buying a car. I so loved buying a car, and I'm going to say something among women here. Sorry, guys, but that there are studies around, and I have been treated differently going to the car lot, being treated by a male salesperson, treating my husband differently. But when I go online, it's amazing what you can do. You can compare, and I love cars. I used to tune up my own car, and you can go online.
I didn't know that about you.
I did. I don't even understand them anymore. This was plugs and points days. But I can go online. I can compare them. You can compare wheelbases and mileage and down to the metallic paint. And then, and you walk in and you say, this is what I want to pay. This is the car. Of course, you can find the dealership that sells a car you want. So that's an example for all of us. Where back in the Mad Men days, they were spending millions of dollars throwing spaghetti against the wall to see what would stick. But here, you're right. We've got this community. We can inform ourselves and just put together what we need which is
Because,
great.
yeah, it's not just your financial net worth; it's also your social net worth, and that expression now is bandied about in a much bigger way. I know that there are actually kick funding programs that are not asking for money; they're asking for your social oomph, and they want you to share, and therefore, and by you liking something or a particular project or product that's coming out, you are sharing your social worth, not just your financial worth, and people that are in your network. So if I have 5,000 people in my Facebook family that are connected to me, those 5,000 people also have, let's say, and I know that 5,000 is more than most. So most people on Facebook probably have 200 or 300 people in the normal range. So if you multiply, though, my 5,000 times their 300, think about it for a second. Now I have, let's say, 15 or 150,000. Math is obviously not my strong suit. 150,000 people that I'm reaching just because of those 5,000 people that I have on Facebook. And so it changes the playing field in a huge, huge way. But I have a question for you. Do you think that everyone should be on every single social media platform that's out there?
Ask the question again, Caren.
Do you think that every small business owner that says, okay, I'm going to be on social media, that they need to be on every platform?
No, I do not.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I do not. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I do, and it's been, it's a gift of my experience, to be honest, and it's a thing that I love, and it's just kind of worked out, is my clients run the gamut of comfort with social media, and they run the gamut of age, definitely. And no, my message to them is, use social media in a way that you're going to use it, that you're comfortable with it. Like, I don't tweet. I think because I couldn't narrow it down to.
And that makes sense. You are a writer, and that makes sense.
Exactly. Why would I do that? But to do the thing, and not to be within your comfort level necessarily. It's always nice to step out of our comfort level a little bit. But do the thing that you like. Do the thing that you're good at. Obviously, use the social media where the people you want to reach are hanging out.
Right.
But if you're good at video, do video. If you enjoy it, do it. If you're not very good at it, then do it in a different way. Do a voiceover over a visual, slideshow or something like that. But no, I don't feel that anyone should be on all media. And by the way, there's offline as well. So there sometimes, for example, I had a client who thought she should be everywhere. And as it turned out, she wanted to work, she was a stager, sort of, and kind of an hourly designer. It was really cool. You could just hire her for a couple hours to rearrange your furniture and give you ideas.
Love that.
You could stage for real estate. So, and I share that because it wasn't a virtual job. She didn't want to travel, beyond a certain mileage. So for her to be on a bunch of social media made
sense. Yeah.
Nope. Then for her to have a beautiful postcard and drop them in her local town. Everybody knew her. So drop them at the real estate agent office, drop them at the coffee shop. So it really has to be appropriate. It has to be.
That's why they need a person like you that's able to take a look at the service product, whatever it is that business is, and saying, just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean you have to do it too. Yes. There's something that might work better for you. I know that you're offering our viewers a very special offer of having them. And so by the way, again, it's right down below there. You can see all the information, but tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing for anyone that would like to avail themselves, and you should avail yourself to her. Awesome.
Thanks, Caren. Well, here's my viewpoint. I believe that, and most people do, I think that your website is your virtual storefront, is what I call it. And if it isn't strong, and if your message isn't strong, then your content probably won't be either. I mean, it's really the essence of what your message is.
Right.
So what I offer, it's kind of a toe in the water, like take that first step in the water. And it's called a website content review. And I put together a report. I basically, I take your money and your URL address and just go in and do a report around, is your homepage copy strong enough? Is it consistent throughout your website? What is your visitor experience when they're landing? Is it easy for them to navigate through the website? What's working, what isn't? Maybe some content ideas. I can look through people's, I repurpose, it's my favorite thing to do. I repurpose content. So I can go through and say, hey, you've got this blog, why don't you use it for such and such? So it's a written report. And usually it's $120. And for your peeps, Caren, it's going to be $60. It's going to be half price.
Oh my gosh. That is, first of all, I would pay 5 times that, because you only have one chance, guys, to mess it up. So when people come to your website and they don't find what they're looking for, or it's not mobile responsive, or there's no content, there's nothing there, they're gone. They're never coming back. And this is a priceless kind of thing. You need somebody to make sure, from another set of really good eyeballs, to tell you that you actually have something that people are going to want to go to. So that is an awesome gift. Thank you, Bettyanne.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It's fun to do.
Any last thoughts you want to share with our audience in terms of anything that we may not have talked about, because I know it's a short show, but anything that you want to make sure that we get to the show?
Yeah, well, and it's gone fast. It's been so fun. Well, I think what I'd like to say is the term relationship marketing. We really didn't talk about it very much.
Right.
I mean, we did actually in many, many ways, but the idea of relationship marketing, and many of you are savvy. I know her tribe is savvy, but I'm sure you already know this. But it bears repeating that it is a matter of building relationships with your readers out there. Bring them value, bring them something of yourself that they can learn and improve their lives, be entertained, be inspired, be informed, so that they begin to like you, know you, trust you, so that you're top of mind when they're ready to purchase what you have to offer. That's what a relationship is. Or they're going to refer you, or they're going to be a rabid fan, as Caren said. So that's relationship marketing, and it's going to be all about relationship. I think it's the way business always should have been.
I agree. I agree 100%. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day. I know you've been doing a little traveling, you've been working, and I'm just delighted that you took the time to be with us today. And so I want to thank our viewers, because we know that you have a choice as well how to spend your day. And I want to thank you for spending it with us today. So go out and give somebody an awesome time, and we will see you next week on the next episode of The Passion Point. Goodbye, everyone.